Hi, this is Vicky.
And Ruben from Family Life Explorers.
In this video, we're going to give you an update about our car and we're going to walk you through a 15-day itinerary for the Northern Territory of Australia. We have some great tips for you.
As you might have seen in our previous video, we had some car troubles when we arrived in the Northern Territory. We got stuck for a few days in the Litchfield National Park. And if you haven't seen the video yet, please watch it below. We actually arrived in the Northern Territory with a tow truck. Our car on the back of the tow truck towed us into Mataranka. Mataranka will be in this itinerary as well, but it will be at the end. Because usually when you enter Northern Territory, you start in Darwin because that's easier to reach by plane. But we started in Mataranka, so actually in the southern part of Northern Territory. And from there we moved our way up. But this itinerary will make it more practical for you.
Exploring the Northern Territory with kids is a truly great adventure. So as you know, or maybe not know, we are traveling with the four of us in a four-wheel drive car in a Toyota Prado. And we have a rooftop tent where we sleep in, and the boys usually sleep in a smaller tent next to the car. And sometimes we swap that around. It really depends where we are. We always try to take things a little bit slower, so we're not rushing from the one thing to the other thing. And we stay at certain places for a couple of nights. So we really have the time to do other stuff, enjoy nature. And what I mean with that is, for example, setting up a campfire, taking the time to cook together, taking some time to learn new things, really taking things slow. So that is also our advice for you if you're traveling with kids. Don't rush from one day to the other, being busy with packing all the time. Just really take the time and enjoy nature and all the things around.
The first part of this itinerary will be in Darwin. Usually people start in Darwin because Darwin is a great place to start. It's a beautiful city with loads to do for kids. We actually stayed in Kulalinga. It's a small village near Darwin. It's only a 15 minutes drive. Because Kulalinga is way more affordable and the campsites are massive and lovely. So we had a good time in Kulalinga. And from Kulalinga, we went into the city multiple times to explore Darwin. Things we really enjoyed in Darwin were, for example, the waterfront precinct. That's a beautiful man-made beach, actually. Great for kids with your own lifeguards. And if you want to explore some more, they also have the inflatable structures that you can jump on and off in the water. Super fun. And we also made an actual pool where they can create waves in the waterfront precinct. That's a great place to go when it's hot and warm as it can be in Darwin. Another wonderful place to stay or to go to actually in Darwin, just outside near the beach. It's called De La Plage. It's an amazing beach bar and a diving school actually as well, where you can chill out, lay in the hangmats, you can have wonderful lunches and just chill and relax. Our boys really loved it because this was actually the first place we went to after our hectic trip getting into the Northern Territory. But also here on the beach, don't go in the water because as we told in our previous video near Cape Tribulation and Daintree, also here at Darwin, there are crocodiles, or there can be crocodiles. So swimming is pretty much no-go, but still the view is amazing, the beach is beautiful, and De La Plage is a lovely place to go. Another thing where Darwin is famous for are their markets. They have many markets, so pretty much every day you can go to one of those day markets or evening markets. But since we travel with kids, the evening markets for us were not really the thing we wanted to do. And since we were there in the weekend, we went to the Parap market. That's pretty much every Sunday. It's a really great, cool market where you can get a lot of things. You can have lovely food from Asia to Europe. We even had pancakes. We love pancakes. And lemonade, really good laksa from India. But also you can get for plants, for seedlings. There's music. And you can find a lot of gift shops. You can even get a massage. So the vibe is amazing, really great stands, and we love to go there actually. And then in and around Darwin there are a few other things that we didn't do but we heard great things about. For example, the Crocodiles Cove. That's actually a kind of sanctuary for crocodiles where you can feed the crocs and also swim together with them. In a cage, of course, because they're pretty dangerous, but you can have an adventure swimming in the cage and looking at the crocs from nearby. And if you're into wildlife, you can also go to the Territorial Wildlife Park. They have loads of animals from Australia mainly, which you probably haven't seen before if you're from Europe. So that's a great way to look at all the animals that you can find or hope to find in nature.
So on day 5, it's time to drive towards Litchfield National Park, which is an amazing big national park of about 15,000 square kilometers, and it is known for its impressive waterfalls. On your way, you can have a little stop at the termite mounds, which are amazing creatures. They create this very big mounds and they regulate their temperature within, not affected by the outside temperature. And these termite mounds are impressive because apparently there is iron in the ground, which makes the mounds magnetic. So definitely make sure to stop there. If you want to visit Litchfield National Park, you will need a park pass. We are sharing the link below where you can purchase this park pass. The best tip of the day is to make sure to book your campsite within the park on time, because those campsites in the park itself are getting fully booked pretty quickly, but they have some amazing campgrounds. We're also sharing a link below for you to check them out. Fortunately, we couldn't stay because we were too late with booking a campsite, so we were also in the national park, but another private campground, which was basically a grass field. Also nice, but we would have preferred to stay within the park. And then before your arrival, make sure to bring your own firewood and enough food and water, of course, and drinks, so you can really enjoy your stay.
Litchfield National Park is famous for its waterfalls, and there are quite a few to visit. After arriving in the park on day 6, you can go to Wangi Falls. It's the most famous falls in the park, actually. A lot of people go there, and it's really easy to reach. Just park your car, walk a few meters, and then you're already next to the waterfall. This is also kind of a thing we didn't really like, because since it's so easy to reach, there are also a lot of touring cars, many tourists to visit these waterfalls. So if you want to be kind of by your own, visit these falls really early before a lot of people arrive. The same goes for the Florence Falls, which are beautiful. There are actually 2 Florence Falls, and we really enjoyed it. The water is freezing when you get in, but funnily enough, then the second waterfall that comes in the same pool is warm. So one waterfall is cold, that's the first one. The second one is warm. So if you want to go to the little bit warmer water, you have to swim a little bit through the icy cold water. But still, it's stunning and beautiful to swim there. Also with a lot of people, because also Florence Falls is easy to reach. If you want to make it a little bit more exciting, you can actually stop earlier, slightly up the road, Bully Rockhole, and walk about 30 minutes through a nice little walk to Florence Falls. The waterfalls we actually enjoyed the most, we visited on day 7, this itinerary. There was Tjuta Falls. It's way smaller than the other 2, but the funny thing is that you can swim not under the waterfalls, but actually on top of the waterfalls. And there's a really small plunging hole where you can swim into, and it's lovely, especially because you have to do a little hike of about 45 minutes, I think, 45 minutes, and it goes pretty steep up the hills, and therefore also there are way less tourists. At a certain point we were actually alone, which made it even more special. The views are amazing from the fall, and the boys love to jump into the little swimming hole. Don't step too far outside of the swimming hole, because then you'll see the drop of the waterfall of about 30-40 meters. But that's alright. We love this way better than the big touristy waterfalls in the national park.
And that is, by the way, great about Litchfield, the many waterfalls, and there are no crocodiles there, so you can really enjoy all the waters there. On day 8, you can continue your trip to Kakadu National Park, a must-do adventure with kids. This national park is known for its Aboriginal culture. They have been living there for more than 65,000 years. And the national park is actually very big. I think it's the biggest one in Australia. It's 20,000 square kilometers big, so the park is actually half the size of our country, the Netherlands. Very impressive. Take your time, because also the drive would be pretty long. And again, we were taking things slow together with the boys. We started our trip at the visitor center, which we always do, because there they can give you all the great tips, the best hikes you can do with kids, maybe a swimming spot at Kakadu, because most of the places at Kakadu you cannot swim because of the crocs. So that was great. They even have a little museum, and yeah, we picked the best tips we thought were good to do with kids when we started our journey. We decided to stay at Aurora Kakadu Lodge, which is a wonderful campsite. They even have a very refreshing swimming pool, and that was actually the reason why we wanted to stay there with our boys. Because we were doing some hikes there, it could get super hot during the day, and then it's nice to really take a refreshing dive in the water. But if you want, you can also stay in one of the amazing campsites at Kakadu National Park itself, which is actually most of the time a preferred choice because of the nature, the birds and the surroundings. But this was also a great campsite for us. Before you entering Kakadu, make sure to purchase your national park pass. You also support the national park by doing that. So we are sharing a link below where you can get this park pass. And again, actually with all the national parks in the Northern Territory, make sure to book on time because the campsites get pretty full. They are very popular. And bring enough food, water, bring your firewood to enjoy your journey.
And for us, Kakadu National Park was actually one of the highlights of the first 3 months in Australia. There's so much to do and so much special things to do, especially for kids, which you have never done before. One of the things was actually in the itinerary on day 9 is the Jumping Crocs tour. Sounds a bit techy, and it is, but it's amazing. Usually we don't do these kinds of tours, but we really want to see the crocs up close. In a Jumping Crocodile tour, it's exactly what you expect when you hear it. You go on a boat and the lovely people actually from the tour guide you on the river, tell you all about crocodile, about the Adelaide River. And then they put some meat on a pole and a rope, try to lure the crocodiles to the boat. The crocodiles, of course, know what to do. And after 10-15 minutes, the first crocodile will start jumping towards the meat, which is impressive to see because then you see the crocodiles out of the water from up close, actually. So yeah, it's not something we normally do, but we really enjoyed it. And it's great to see the crocs from up close. If you love crocs, then day 10 of the itinerary is even more filled with these beautiful creatures, because another highlight of Kakadu National Park is Cahill's Crossing. Cahill's Crossing is actually just a road through the river. It is slightly too low because with high tide, it fully overflows with water from one side to the other. And there is where the crocodiles will be laying, waiting for the fish to jump over the water to catch them. Well, actually, they're not really catching them. The lazy crocodiles pretty much wait until the fish jump into their mouths and then try to eat it. Again, here you can sit pretty close to the crocs on the river banks, and I think we spotted about 14 or 16 crocs from up close waiting for the fish to arrive. It was pretty cool to see them in the wild because they're massive. Actually, a tip when you go to Cahill's Crossing, go there just before or after high tide, but just around high tide, so watch the tide schedules, because then the water flows over and there are way more fish and therefore also way more crocodiles. So that's very important to check the tide schedules. When you're in the neighborhood of Cahill's Crossing, just slightly up the road is Ubir. Ubir we really loved again. It's actually the site of I think the oldest rock paintings in Australia. This is where the first people settled who arrived in Australia, the Aboriginal people. And there are rock paintings of thousands of years old, and they made a really nice path with all descriptions, what it is, what it looked like, and why they used it actually. And nowadays we call it rock art, but most of the art was actually pretty practical, which showed how a fish looked from the inside or which animals to eat. Also that stealing is not okay was one of the photos. And the ones we love the most is actually the rainbow serpent. That is the giant serpent that shaped the area according to the Aboriginal stories. And when there's a village with small babies and the babies make too much noise, too much sound, the serpents will get annoyed and come to eat the whole village. So keep your babies a little bit quiet, take care of them and make sure they don't make too much noise. Otherwise the serpent will eat everybody. Yeah, so much fun to see it. And during the walk around the art, you can go a little bit further and climb up the rocks. From there, I think it's 20 minutes extra, 30 minutes extra. And from there you have an amazing view over the whole area of Ubir, the flatlands and the wetlands. It's stunning and beautiful, and especially with kids, of course, they like to climb and they enjoyed it very much.
Kakadu is also famous for all the different hikes you can do there. There are very long hikes and shorter hikes, and because we were with kids, we have to be, of course, a little bit selective on that, making sure they have enough energy during the whole trip. The place we wanted to visit was Jim Falls. Unfortunately, we were not able to drive all the way up there because of the floods, so the road was closed. But we also know that you can hike all the way up there. It's a little bit of a longer hike, so we did not do that one, but Jim Falls seems to be amazing, so make sure if you're there to check it out. We did several other ones, and one of them, which we found very impressive and was not that long actually, was the Magul lookout walk. You walk all the way up to a beautiful rock formation and you get this best view of Kakadu, and the hike is okay to do with kids. If you want to make sure to choose the best hike, ask at the visitor center and they will give you a map and provide you with all the information. They even gave us a few secret tips for swimming holes which are not on the map, so make sure to stop there and ask for them. After Kakadu National Park on day 12, it's time to head south, Bitter Springs. Yeah, we would advise you to stay at Lazy Lizard Campground and Cafe. They serve amazing food, but we did not went there for the food. We actually went there because this guy is having several animals there, from snakes to lizards to other creatures we didn't even know they existed. And every day, every morning, afternoon, he takes some of them out and the kids can watch them. They can even pet them if they want. The boys really loved to see them, and they met a python for the first time, so that's very cool to do with kids. They also serve great food. And it's just a very chill and laid-back campground. Everyone loves it. Everyone is talking about Lazy Lizard, so you should definitely stay here for one night. And on the next day, you continue the trip to Bitter Springs.
Mataranka. Yeah, Mataranka is actually famous for its beautiful bitter springs. There are 2 springs where you can visit. And we already told a little bit about these springs in our previous video about how we were stuck in Limbe National Park and in Northern Territory. So especially watch that video again. It's slightly in the end where we talk about the bitter springs. Just in short, there's the bitter springs, so it is pretty much untouched, where you can float around with your noodle of your floating device and enjoy the crystal clear warm water. And there's the Mataranka Springs, where they made it more like a swimming pool with nice walls and beautiful seats, but that's less authentic in our opinion, so we prefer to Bitter Springs. So it's definitely worth a visit when you're in the Northern Territory, because it's beautiful, it's stunning and refreshing.
And on day 15, it's unfortunately the last day of this trip, so it's time to get back to Darwin. If you want, you can extend your trip towards Uluru, Kings Canyon and Kata Tjuta. So yeah, the Northern Territory was absolutely amazing to do with kids. It's all about nature, Aboriginal culture, it's about waterfalls, it's about crocodiles. It's really an adventurous trip for everyone who loves to be on a road trip, being in nature, camping, and check out some amazing creatures on the way.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you again in one of our upcoming videos. Bye bye.
See you.